What is up, guys? Today I'll be reviewing Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I'm sorry for why it took so long to review this movie. I reviewed the first one like April. Go check that video out. The quality is kind of bad because I recorded off my tablet, but now I take screenshots from videos and stuff. But I'll be reviewing Terminator 2. So let's do this. Let's go. The movie starts with the narration by Sarah Connor from the first film. And then we cut to a Terminator appearing, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, another T-800. He goes to a bar and asks for some guy's clothes, just like he did in the first film. And they try beating him up with weapons, but then he beats them up and steals their clothes and their weapons. Then another T-1000 shows up and attacks a cop and steals his outfit. And then he steals the guy's car and looks up John Connor because he already has some criminal records because he's played by Edward Furlong. Sarah Connor's no longer in his life because she's in a mental hospital. John's foster father tells him to go in the house, and he tells him he's not his mother. And then we show Sarah Connor in the mental asylum, played by Dr. Silverman from the first Terminator movie. Then the doctors give her medicine, and then she says she doesn't want any trouble, and then they hit her with a nightstick. Then the liquid Terminator goes to John's parents' house, and they tell him they saw another Terminator go to the house. Then John and his friends steal money. Then he shows his friend a picture of his mother, and he says she's pretty cool, and then he tells her why she's in the mental asylum. John, just because she's in a mental asylum doesn't mean she's actually crazy. Then Sarah has a dream about Kyle Reese, still played by Michael Biehn, and Sarah Connor still played by Linda Hamilton. So maybe she is crazy after all. Then Kyle Reese leaves the room, and then Sarah leaves the building, turning out to be a playground. She tries warning everyone about the nuke, and that blows everyone up. Sarah tells the doctors this is a reoccurring dream for her. Then Dr. Silverman and her have another meeting. Then he tells her that she can't go see her son, so she attacks him. Then his friend tells him that he sees a cop, which turns out to be the liquid Terminator. Then Arnold's Terminator tells John to get down while he pow-pows the liquid Terminator. Then they have a little chase scene, and then the liquid Terminator gets a semi-truck, tries to run down John. It's like every time the cops try to get you in GTA. I don't know if those jokes are still relevant, but the Terminator, Arnold's Terminator, saves John from the liquid Terminator. Then he gets blown up, but he isn't phased because he's liquid metal. And then John asks him what he is because he thinks his mom was lying all this time. Then that night, John asks the Terminator if he can go home. Then the Terminator just takes him to a phone booth where he can call them. It turns out that the liquid Terminator had assassinated John's parents, and then they're gonna go rescue Sarah. But then John tells the Terminator to attack some random guys. Then he tells them don't assassinate them because that would not be right. And he tells them that he has to go save Sarah. Then he tells him not to assassinate anybody, and he says he promises. And then they go save Sarah. She had already broken out, but then he attacks all the guards, and then the liquid Terminator shows up. Then they have to get in a car. Then he attaches himself to their vehicle. Then the Terminator has to pow-pow him off the trunk when he was trying to get John. Why didn't he just spill in there anyway? But then Sarah got injured because he stabbed her with his arm. Then they healed the Terminator up with patches. And Sarah tries to crush the chip that the Terminator had in his head, but she decides not to because he needs to help them. but this is the special edition, so don't really need to worry about that. Then the next morning, the Terminator, John and Sarah try to fix a car, and then John tells the Terminator to smile, just like that scene in Final Fantasy X where Titus tells Kamari to smile. But just like in that game, it doesn't look as good. But then they get in the car. Then the Terminator tells Sarah and John about the whole thing, how Judgment Day started. And they tell him about Miles Dyson, who has the arm from the Terminator in the first movie. Then Miles Dyson tells his wife that he just needs to finish this project up. Then Sarah stops at a guy's place to get some weapons and stuff, and then has another bad dream about Judgment Day happening. Then Sarah gets in a car and tries to find Miles Dyson's house to assassinate him, and she kind of looks like Sonya Blade from Mortal Kombat. And John is trying to get her to not do this. Then Sarah pops in his yard trying to assassinate him, and then John and the Terminator show up. Then John tells Miles' son to go hang out with him in the room while he gives the Terminator a switchblade, cuts his arm off, showing that he's a robot. Then the Terminator tells Miles Dyson about Judgment Day, and Sarah thinks that he's gonna kill everyone. Then Miles tells her he hasn't even done anything yet. Then the four of them go to a building to try to destroy the Terminator evidence and stuff. And then the police show up because there's explosions and stuff. And I mean, Arnold was the governor of California a few years ago, so I could just tell everyone to go home, but this was before, so no. He resorts to using pow-pow machine pow-pow violence, attacking everyone in the path. And then they walk in, and then the police assassinate Miles Dyson. Then the Terminator gets a huge truck so Sarah and them can get in. And then the T-1000 gets into a helicopter and steals that. And then they both crash that, and then they have to get new vehicles. Then the T-1000 gets frozen. Then he blows him up. Then they try to get out of there, but then the T-1000 rebuilds himself. But then his chameleon abilities kind of malfunction. So, he's gonna have looking the same way, something he touched. And then he injures the T-800. And then he injures Sarah and tries to get John to come to him and assassinate him. Then he doesn't fall for it because, his chameleon abilities are kind of malfunctioning. And then Sarah pow-pows him, and then the Terminator blows him up. Then he falls into the lava, which then he past looks go there. Then the T-800 says he's got to leave, but John doesn't want that to happen. But then Sarah pressed the button, and then the T-800 is lowered into the lava. And then there was going to be a happier ending, but they didn't want to show that because they don't want the future to be certain. And there we go. That was Terminator 2. I can't believe it took me 5 months to review this movie. And this is one of those movies on that rare occasion where the sequel is better than the original. So, and if you like this video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.